Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary, distinguished guests, welcome to Ridiculous, the Life of a Clown. Who are you and what do you do?
Hello, we're Mosh.
My name is Shara, and I have been doing improv for about 12 years, and then clowning for the past 4 or 5.
I'm Molly,
Yeah.
and I'm a theater performer and a photographer. That's what I do.
Yeah. And then Mosh, we're a duo, a clowning duo, and we were created. That's what I wanted to say.
We were created. We birthed Mosh.
Yeah.
From our loins.
Yeah.
Because we met at Clown Conservatory. We graduated in 2017.
Yes.
And we just looked into each other's eyes and we knew that we wanted to work together and make something amazing.
Yeah.
So we created Mosh after a very long coffee shop date with a long list of other potential names for a group.
Yeah.
And then we realized that Mosh sounds great because it's Molly and Shara combined.
Oh,
Yes.
that's great.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this is much easier than we expected it to be.
Not so much the violent dancing as
No. But I think
As
that
the
could be a part of it.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. So we created Mosh just because we wanted to keep working together after clown school.
That's
And
great.
that was it.
Yeah.
When I left clown school, one of the reasons I wanted to focus on duos this year for the podcast is because it's not something that I've been able to accomplish. You know, I've always wanted to partner with one person in the long term, and I've never been able to find the right person to do that with. But when I left clown school, I partnered with someone who I'd gone to school with for a while as well, and that was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's magic when it happens.
Yeah.
And you can't push it. We were just like, oh yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And I love all of the other people that we went to clown school with, and everyone is so incredibly unique, but just something about mine and Shara's chemistry was just this works.
Yeah. But we didn't work together that much in ClownCon until one of the teachers. Did you have
Dominique
Jandot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been there since the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Name dropping Dominique Jandot. Just gonna...
Yeah, but did you do the entrees with him then, I guess?
Yep.
Yeah. So he put us together for one of the entrees. It was you two have a good energy. You work together.
Which entree did you guys...
The pea soup.
Pea soup.
Yeah.
Catastrophe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very good at that. And we killed it. And it made sense and it felt really good with
Nice.
that. Yeah.
I, for the life of me, can't remember what entrees we that I was part of.
Yeah.
Maybe the Somnambulous Kleptomaniac.
Oh yeah. That's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, but I don't really recall. I mean, they're a really useful tool, but not one that ended up having a lot of resonance with what I ended up doing. But you find yourself when you're writing pieces that you start writing in that kind of formula and that kind of structure where you're writing entrees as opposed to doing ones that have been around for 150 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why, rolling back a little bit, why do you do clown?
Well, I had been doing improv since college, and I didn't do much theater before that. And so at some point, I was like, oh, all the improvisers that I know also have acting training. And so I was like, oh, I want to get some acting training, see if I can get into my body more, because improv often feels very heady and you're just talking and trying to make jokes with words. And so I did this acting program, and there was a clowning class taught by Letitia Bartlett.
Okay.
It was the American Conservatory Summer Training Program, and she just has a lot of fun exercises that clowning teachers have that just, it's all about the body, and it felt so good. It felt so good to use my whole body to make people laugh and to tell stories as opposed to just my head. So then after that I was like, I want to do more of this because it felt so energetic. Yeah.
And Molly?
I was doing youth theater. I did youth theater, summer programs from age 10 to 21, I think. Just every summer, no summer break, it's only youth theater programs. And I did the Young Rep program for 7 years in Walnut Creek, and I was studying Shakespeare and studying musical theater, and all of my friends were thinking about college and thinking about going off to be theater majors. And that never really connected with me. I never wanted to go be a musical theater major or go study, who did I say? Arthur Miller,
Yes.
you know, like play stuff that sort of setting just never really clicked with me, even though I like did enjoy doing it. And then I took a masterclass at the Young Rep program taught by Sarah Moore, and so she was like, "Oh my gosh, who are you? You got to do this." And I was like, "Okay." And so clown just like made sense, and like everything sort of clicked. So I started to get into physical theater, and just it felt so much better than just, you know, the normal play stuff, and like creating things and playwriting within clowning is just so much more fun for me. Yeah.
So, what for you is integral to clown? What defines clown as separate and divided from other forms of theater and other forms of comedy? What is clown in your eyes?
Should I go?
Yeah, you go.
Vulnerability.
Yes.
and freedom to play. But I think there is strength in being vulnerable as a clown, and I think that's one of my greatest challenges and the most fun that I have, is just sort of letting go, and also just with the work that we're doing, like really digging deep into the things that are hard and then making fun of that and like making us laugh about the hard stuff. So I think, yeah, vulnerability is my big thing with clown.
Vulnerability was huge for me. In fact, it is the main thing that I took away from the dogma of the Clown Conservatory. I went to the original Clown Conservatory, which has gone through a number of different, I assume, different fundamental dogma shifts since then. But what I took from it to be the fundamental dogma was open emotional vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's not what they intended. I found that out much later on. We were having this podcast and discussing it with the founder, and like, yeah, that's not what I meant.
Oh no!
So, like, okay, well, it worked for me.
What did they mean?
I should be able to tell you that off the top of my head. But I know what I took from it was so strong about vulnerability.
Yeah.
From them, it was coming out of discovery and learning the physical first, and then coming into character after that. Nice. Building from the physical into the mental. And again, I'm butchering what his actual dogma was, but for me, it was all about emotional vulnerability. I came up with intense reservation inside myself towards play, and that's why it was so important to me to do it. But yeah, vulnerability is a huge part of the clown that I do as well.
Yeah, I think vulnerability, and then also it just feels like clowning is so generous, and it like feels so alive because the audience is your partner that you're playing with, and I don't know, I think that's so fun, and like anything can happen, and I feel like there's just a lot of like creative energy in that style, I guess. I don't know. I try to, like, when people ask me what clowning is, I'm like, I don't know.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's so much. And like to tell people that I went to clown school, they think that it was primarily circus training, which it was, but I am very bad at the circus arts. I am not very good at those. But I make the joke that, like, I cried at least once a week at clown school, which is ironic, but, like, I think it's because you're, like, tearing yourself apart to figure out all the shit inside. Can I say shit?
Yeah.
Yay! All the shit inside you. And then making it funny somehow. Like, it's raw and it's weird. But yeah, it's generous because, like, we are doing this to speak to the audience, to try to like make some connections through that laughter, and it's, oh my god, it's so crazy.
Yeah. I concur.
So what is, you've talked about what clown is to you and where it comes from. What is the function of clown? What is the point? Why have clowns? Why have clown in society? Why have clown in art? Why have clown in circus? Why have clown? Why have clown?
Why have clown?
Who clown? Why clown?
Why clown?
You clown?
I clown.
Me clown.
Why have clown? Would you like clown?
Can't say no to clown.
No.
Clown comes.
I mean, like, we need clown. Like, just like... I don't know. I'm like looking off in the distance, and I'm actually thinking about it because I, one, forgot my answer that we prepared earlier.
Good.
And two, like clown is everywhere. You know, it's in all things. Oh. It's the like very well dressed man who's walking down the street and trips on the sidewalk, and you're like, yes, like his status changed, and it's hilarious, and he has to fumble and figure himself out, and it's beautiful to watch that like moment, and we need clown to be able to survive the darkness of every day.
Yeah, Molly will consistently call me and tell me about a character that she sees on the street. She's like, I see this woman with a tiny dog.
I love my tiny dog neighbor.
Yeah, and fluffy slippers.
Good. She was wearing fluffy slippers, I think, like very short bike shorts, a huge, some sort of sports t-shirt. And what was her hair? Her hair was something amazing. And then she's shuffling on the street corner, and then a tiny dog appears. And I was just like, oh, it just can't get any better. It was just every single thing that I noticed about her was so whimsical and wonderful. Yeah. And I called you and I was like, this is a character we have to create. We have to make her.
Yeah.
So who is the tiny dog?
The tiny dog is the boss of it all.
Yeah.
The tiny dog dressed that woman.
Yeah.
The tiny dog said, we have to go to the corner.
I think he was asking which one of us is the tiny dog.
Oh. That works as well.
That's a good question. I don't know.
That actually bleeds into my next question.
Yes, please.
Status, because you were just talking about it moments ago. Mm-hmm. So, who's the top? Who's number one? Who's number two? Do you switch? How do you determine your status in interactions? How does your relationship work?
I mean, I think in our clowning characters that we have created, Marge and Gloria, it's like a friendship, so it feels like a friendship. And like I remember an improv teacher that I had in college named Dan Klein was like, friendship is an exchange of status. You're like constantly giving and taking status, and that is kind of like what makes it really fun to have a friend. And if you have a relationship that is just static status that never changes, like that doesn't feel like a satisfying relationship, really. So I feel like we're like pretty equal status, but with like constant shifts, constant give and takes.
Yeah.
And like somebody will be down and somebody will be up, and then it'll switch, and then we'll help each other, and then
So is it primarily those two characters?
So
far, yeah. That's who we fell into in clown school. We created these two beautiful idiots, middle-aged-ish women who are just normal people, but a little bit elevated.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. I feel like Marge, you can look at Marge and Gloria and you can think of someone in your family. Like, there's definitely someone in your family who is a Marge or who is a Gloria.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about the status of our relationship. I want to circle back to that really fast. And like, we wrote a show together last year, and it was the first time we'd ever done anything like that in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, in my life.
Yeah, in my life too. Great. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad it was our first. But we just decided we wanted to write a show with Marge and Gloria and like just tell a story with these two wacky characters, and like the status shifts within writing that show was absolutely flawless. Like, what? I've done theater and I've done creative theater with so many different people, and it was just so easy. And like, there were nights where we were like laying on the stage, our tech week, and we were writing stuff that we had to perform in a show in a week.
Yeah.
And you would be down and you'd be like, nothing is working, and I don't have it. And then I would be like, I don't know what's funny anymore. I have nothing. And like, we would just build each other up, but like, we're very open communication, constantly, like, always trying to, like, be ahead of our own feelings.
Yeah.
I broke down in a UPS store.
I was there.
It was terrible. I was crying at a UPS store the morning that we opened our show.
It was the busiest I'd ever seen the store, also.
And I was just crying in a UPS store, and it's the funniest goddamn thing that's ever happened to me.
Was it the stamps?
We didn't have stamps for our programs.
And we were printing our programs, and it was just other stuff in my life. And I just walked in, and I have my sunglasses on, and I'm crying. And it was like the most San Francisco girl moment of just like printing these programs for a clown show, and I'm having a breakdown. And she was just present with me, and she just looked at me and she goes, "This is really funny. You need to know that. This is really funny." And I was like, "I know it's really funny. I'm distressed."
Yeah.
So we take good care of each other, I guess, is the short answer for that long tail.
Yeah, that's the short answer to Marge and Gloria.
Yeah.
Why we do those games.
So, your background's in improv.
Yeah.
To what degree is improv part of your work? Is it just in the writing? Is it? I mean, again, clown and improv go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I'm not a great clown is I'm not a great improv person. Just spent the last many years trying to get better and better at it. Play a lot of role-playing games with people, and that helps tremendously. But
It's the only reason I got into D&D, because I was like, oh, this is improv and theater. I was like, oh, I can do this.
Well, if you're looking for a game, we have room.
My husband's the DM,
Okay.
so he's rocking it. Yeah, he's doing good.
So improv. So yes, how does it fit into your role and in your work?
Oh, I feel like we in the writing of our show, and then we've had fun doing little videos, and it feels like we have an idea, and then we just totally improvise. We have our characters, and we know who they are, and we know who they are to each other, and it feels kind of I think one reason our characters kind of mirror, I think, our actual relationship. So, and in our actual relationship, we can riff off each other, and so then I think our characters are just improvising. They're just living their lives, improvising all the time. So when we were writing our show, it was literally we just sat next to each other as our characters. We'd be like, oh,
We do say real words. I just want to clarify, our show is not entirely whatever that was.
That was an exchange. That was a witty exchange. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I definitely know that you are the improv master of the two of us. You are better at improv. The where that your brain goes. The place that your brain goes is just fascinating, and I think that that's what gets us to the weirder places with our characters that we can go, and just being able to have that freedom to just say, I'm trying to think of something that Gloria is. Oh, where did Gloria live? Gloria lived in a hole.
Yeah, I'm Gloria. I lived in a hole.
And that...
Marge, can you see me down here?
Oh, Gloria, you're so deep down. Is it wet? Are you wet down there?
It's wet and it's warm.
It's wet and it's warm.
Can
That's
you
the way
send me
you
a
like
candle?
It.
I want to see you.
So, yeah, Gloria lives in a hole, and just and we just went with that, and it was just yeah, of course she lived in a hole at one point, and then that allowed me to say that Marge had a long-term relationship with a man who was a beaver collector, and then suddenly we were living in this den of beavers, and it just became too much. It's just too many beavers.
It's too many beavers.
I can handle one man.
Oh,
but 12 beavers is
12
too
beavers
much.
And one man.
And one man. It's just too much.
That's too much.
Too much fur.
Yeah, too many tails. Slapping.
Slapping those tails.
So much slapping.
What is happening right now? Anyway.
Yeah.
Improv is very helpful.
Your characters, did you develop those during the period that you were in the clown school?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that work for you? When again, different dogmas at different iterations. I think, I could be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Sarah. I believe this is the third iteration of the Clown Conservatory.
I think it is.
That was first Jeff Raz's Clown Conservatory that ran for about 10 years, and then Dan Griffiths ran it for a number of years under his own, set of ideas, and then Sarah Moore took over and relaunched it and ran it for this. I'm not sure how many years now.
Well, the class of 2017 was the first year that Sarah was the director of it. So
yeah.
So 3-4 years now?
Yeah.
So character was not part of our dogma. No, it was about learning the forms, learning the skills, learning the improv, learning a number of other things, and character would come in the second year program. If you ended up sticking around and doing a second year. How did you I mean, I'm assuming you developed your characters through improv, but how did you come to your characters, and when, where did they develop?
I remember the moment we kind of developed an idea.
Please tell me, because I don't know this.
Because I think the Clown Conservatory is focused on characters, and then I think we were just actually playing around outside of the things that we were creating in class.
I feel like also with Sarah's direction, the Clown Conservatory was also in like situational comedy. Like I think we did a lot of exercises of like go on a date with this inanimate object and like the things that would happen with that. Like I think that there was a lot of fun and play with those sort of things.
Yeah.
So we would be in the situations that then we would have to sort of put the characters into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
But we, I think we were in like a music class and we were just talking about bees. We were just talking about bumblebees.
We wanted to release live bees for this performance.
We were like, wouldn't it be funny?
Funny.
Don't worry, Marge and Glory are coming soon. But we started with bees, and then we were like, wouldn't it be funny if everybody was dressed as a bee? Wouldn't that be funny?
It would be really funny.
Yeah. And so then we kind of as like our whole class did this project during class. They like helped us make a video.
We absolutely took it over though. We definitely were like, it's our day now. It's our day. We're doing our video and you can all be a part of it. Like I'm aware that we had that diva moment.
Did we have a diva moment? I think it was just like a free afternoon or something.
It kind of was. And it was the video class that Colin Johnson was the teacher for, and he was our director for this the show.
So that's very new, that they have video as an element.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun because we did like fake. Oh, what did we do? We had a script. Mm-hmm. We had one script that was like several lines between three characters, and then we all got different genres of movies to recreate with this script.
Yeah,
and
really
so
fun.
You did. It was a soap opera, and I was in like a high school TV show rom-com kind of vibe.
It was beautiful.
It was like a Disney TV show, and there were just like, and all these different groups were able to play around with. And it was clown in a way because it was the extreme version of something, but there was like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And like there's not necessarily clown within that, but I think that also within horror there is a lot of clown. There's a lot of the extremes and things like that. But the film was a really great aspect to add in.
Yeah. But so we made this video with Colin Johnson, who is like the film teacher, and we were like, we just want to make a video where people are dressed as bees.
We think it'd be really funny. Trust us.
Yeah. So then we just like had these two characters, Marge and Gloria, who, I don't know, I think just organically came up and playing around, and we were like, let's use Marge and Gloria, and then we did a video where Marge and Gloria lived in this neighborhood, and then they were introducing as kind of like a public access TV show all the neighbors that they lived with one by one, and every single one was dressed like a bee except for one person. Mm-hmm.
And in order to create the like clown heightened, extreme emotions, it would stress them out every single time someone came on stage dressed as a bee. Like again, like they're also dressed as a bee, and so by the end we're screaming and throwing furniture, screaming, oh, he's dressed like a bee, god damn it, he's dressed like a bee, and just the idea of getting so upset by someone dressed as a bee was just absolutely hilarious to us. And it was like a 15-minute long video, and it's good, but like it definitely is like our own sense of humor, and I can't show my in-laws and be like, look how funny this is. They'd be like, okay, maybe this is nice.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that I think Marge and Gloria started when I started to just mimic Shara's voice. Because I think that you have a really unique voice, and it's all sort of here, and you have these R's, you have the R's here, and then slowly it just got lower and lower, and then my chin goes back, and this is basically Marge. And then Gloria sounds very similar, which I think is because we lived together for so long. I think that might be...
We lived together. When did we live together?
Marge and Gloria.
I thought you meant you and me.
No.
I never lived with you,
no.
Molly.
Except for that long weekend.
I stayed with you for 2 nights. Should I have paid rent?
Just osmosis. You just become the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was literally it.
Yeah.
That was it.
So, are you still doing video as part of Mosh?
So I think we're on a hiatus because I'm...
Why, Sheriff?
Because I am currently living in Blue Lake, California, going to Del Arte International for their 1-year professional training program. So we're on a hiatus. But I get back in June, everyone. And
she's back. Let's throw a party. Yeah. Let's do this.
And I think, like, I don't know, in my head I have a desire to make a movie.
That's great.
With you.
Is this news?
No, I've told you this. Remember, I was like, I want to make a movie.
I know, but I didn't know that was like...
Now I'm putting it out
like the
world.
winter goals.
Can you tell us what your movie's about?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know I don't know if it's Marge and Gloria. It could be.
Okay.
It could be other people. But I want to make a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how this goes. That's how this relationship is. It's just one of us turns to the other and is like, I want to do this thing, and the other goes, okay. What is it going to be? I don't fucking know.
So, what's your litmus for whether or not something is good? Especially before you get in front of an audience. Before you put it in front of an audience and get feedback, how do you know you're creating something good? I mean, for me, it's always been if it makes me laugh. But I know many clowns that's not okay. That's not enough. It needs to be the audience. I don't care. I don't care what the audience... I mean, obviously I want to get laughs. Yeah. I want to kill. I want to murder the people. But...
I love the language of comedy. I want to kill everyone. Just
I think that is the
delightfully
Ringling version of In Buco El Lupo. In The Mouth of the Wolf is kill the people.
Yeah.
But even in The Mouth of the Wolf is I hope he chokes on me. You know,
God.
You've never heard that?
I've never heard this.
In The Mouth of the Wolf, that's what we're doing. We're throwing ourselves in the mouth of the wolf. I hope he dies.
Yeah.
Kill the people.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's for other people. It's about what the audience feels, and for me, no, it's really got to be about what I feel. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good. It's going to be good to me.
Yeah.
So what is it for you? What is your litmus of what is or isn't good clown?
Does it feel honest? Are we making a connection with each other? Like, are we responding truthfully? And yeah, is it funny to us? And like, there were times when we were writing our show where we would do the same thing and rehearse the same thing over and over because we had that set script that we finally made. And yeah, we would like lie on the ground and be like, is this funny anymore? I don't know if this is funny anymore. And I think at that point, because we knew it was funny in the beginning, at that point, we then bring in someone we trust and be like, please tell us if this is funny. And then if they say no, do we care? Did we care if they said no?
Well, we've only written one show, and I think
the videos too.
And the videos, yeah. I think we care. Yeah. I think we care, but if we think it's really funny, then we'll keep it.
I think, I
think sometimes we think things are funny that aren't widely funny, which is
I don't think we go to such an extreme that it is so absurd that it makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think if it was funny and then people are suddenly sort of say, like, I think we would feel that and we would want to, like, take care of our audience.
Yeah.
And, like, make them laugh again. And so I think that we don't really go past that line.
Yeah.
I think it's all fun. Yeah. For everybody.
Yeah.
See, my clown tends to start at uncomfortable. The piece that I do the most often is burlesque.
Yes.
And it's just I get up on stage, I take off all my clothes, and then I do a little dance. And so it is super awkward and uncomfortable. And it is now morphed into a thing where I am a person from the audience who isn't actually part of the show. It's just been like, you get up here and do your striptease, you get tickets to the next show, kind of thing, and so it's so good. So it's even more believable to the audience up to the end, which has its own big blow off at the end when I finish my little dance of 7 Kleenex, dance of 7 veils thing, and but I start off and I cannot stand awkward comedy. I will not watch Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, anything like that. I can't stand it. Don't like unpleasant people being unpleasant. I don't like that kind of awkward. I don't like awkward.
Yeah.
But for me, putting the audience on the spot and making them squirm a little bit, yeah, that entertains me.
Yeah.
And they seem to find it funny.
Nice.
But yeah, so I start in a very awkward place myself. That's very interesting. I want to go back to your video though.
Yeah.
You said you're still making you make videos beyond the B video. You make
Beyond
other
the
videos.
B.
Welcome back to Beyond the B.
The B was merely our first dabble.
Yeah.
But no, we made videos as a way to like keep our characters alive, I think,
And put them into different scenarios.
Yeah.
I think the first one we did was a fight between the two of us on who was going to drive the car. And it was just like this...
Well, no, what happened was we were like getting together and with Colin Johnson, who was like helping us film stuff and who like...
He is our friend, our confidant, our director, our filmmaker.
Yeah.
And the person we trust the most to laugh at us, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if he's
And to
laughing.
tell us, yeah. What's funny or not. But yes, very grateful to Colin Johnson.
Thank you, Colin Johnson.
But so we were like getting together to do a move to just make a video, and we were in our character costumes, and then we were like, I was like, I have to go repark my car. So then we just went as our characters to repark my car, and then
And he filmed it with his phone.
Yeah,
Like, it was great.
and then that became a video series.
Yeah, and we just like climbed over each other in the front seat and stuff, and so it was just like, okay, how will these two people fight over the car? And it was just like a very natural clown sequence of events of just like getting in the front seat, being like, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore, and then running around and like finding a way to make it as stupid, climbing through the windows, like just stupid, just stupid.
And then other videos were just things that we thought were funny, like the taste test video, which was your idea.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Taste test?
Taste test, we wanted, similar to the public access TV vibe, we wanted to be able to like create little off bits that would sort of be at like 2 o'clock in the morning on public access TV. And so we decided to have Marge and Gloria have a table of food, and they were going to taste it and rate it whether it was food or not food. And so because their diet is so minimal, we've just decided that like they don't really eat past what they know. So we had things like a strawberry and a Pop-Tart and a tomato and dental floss, and like it was just like the clown's first experience of seeing something. So like that's the basic exercise of like the clown meets a chair. Like, how does the clown sit in the chair that it meets for the first time? So that's sort of the fun that we had with like trying new foods of like, what the fuck is this? And like we would respond to it in a way like not know how to eat it properly, and like it just was fun to play.
So what do you do with your video?
Well, we don't share it because
okay, so that is where I was going with this. Yeah.
Well, because we have a lot of anxiety.
Yeah. No, but I think we do have anxiety about sharing things. I have anxiety about sharing.
Oh, I have anxiety.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my own business. That's why it's so funny.
Okay. But we have a website and we put videos on it. We put the parking series on there.
And we should put the other videos on there. We should just do it.
Let's do it.
We're going to do it.
You should totally do it.
Abraham, we're going to do it.
Which leads into, how do you promote your work?
We did.
We had a show in August. You should have gotten tickets.
You should have come. You should have been there.
Retrospectively is how you're promoting it.
Yeah,
we promote it after it's over.
It was a great learning experience, honestly. Because our friend group, or the people who know about Mosh, are our friends and our family, and they all showed up, which was marvelous. And I think we were able to perform at the Magic Patio Theater, which our friend Andrew Evans performs at, that we are both a part of his show, actually. And so he let us use his theater, which was marvelous. And we just sort of like jumped into being like, oh, we have like a real theater, and like this is a real thing. And it just sort of hit us that it became very real very quickly. And so we did like Eventbrite tickets, and we did Facebook, and I edited stupid videos of like little things that we had done in our other videos that don't make any sense, and it's like, come figure out what's going on at our show. And we honestly had a really good turnout the first opening night, because it was like the celebratory opening night, and then we had a whopping 14 people at our second show, and this is a theater that seats 60 something.
Yeah.
And it was like so wonderful and like grounding to like really honestly perform it for like my mom,
My
like,
dad.
her
Who
dad,
was seeing it for the second time.
and like a handful of our friends who just came to support us on a Saturday, and then closing weekend, which was I think a month later. Like we did a weird sort of two shows, and then we had a month to say, here's what everyone said about our show, to then have we had sold out last two shows. But I loved the 14 people that we performed our show for, because it was like very, very grounding, because I think that we got really excited that we were doing this in a real big theater and with bright lights and stuff, and then we had to move all of the chairs down so that they would actually be in the first two rows, and it was like, hi, welcome to our show. We're really glad
And
that
no
you're
one
here.
wants to sit in the front row. It's a clown show.
Oh,
you don't know what's going to happen.
They did. They absolutely did.
They absolutely did.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And
And there is a point where we go into the audience, but people so far have been pretty...
Yeah, they've been cool about it.
Yeah, cool about it.
We're not scary.
No, we're like
We're
pretty...
not threatening.
I feel like we're like pretty... I don't know. I don't want to say... I feel like we're not like...
What were you going to say?
I was going to say Disney.
Oh, yeah. No,
I
that's
don't want to say
fine.
Disney. But I feel like we're not clowns that really make people feel uncomfortable. I think it's like kind of like an open type of clowning that's like very playful and very like inviting to people, and like, yeah, very vulnerable and honest in a way that's like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to describe
Marge
it.
and Gloria don't make people uncomfortable, but the situations that we are in, I think, resonate with people and make them uncomfortable.
Right.
Which is
But I don't
fine.
think I've ever heard anybody say that they were uncomfortable watching something. Like,
good.
I feel like it's like, we're not like, what is it called when you're like trying to reflect society back?
Satire?
Or it starts with a B, right? The like...
A bee?
Batire?
What is it? Where you're like
Bouffant.
Sasha Bouffant.
Yeah.
We're like not
Yes,
near
no.
that at all.
There are like three Bouffants in the world that I think are really excellent.
Yeah. Who are they?
No.
You know all of them? You know all Bouffants?
No. But
Hashtag not all Bouffants.
there's this amazing Bouffant out of Canada. I can't remember her name, but she came and taught at our class, and she was just spectacular. And Antigona Drain. Ross
Travis.
Ross taught us.
But Ross is amazing, and I love Ross.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some other Bouffants that are local that have left a real bad taste in my mouth towards Bouffant, because it was something that interested me so much when I was in clown school.
Yeah.
And then have people just be so bitter, especially about the community that they were in, was just really off-putting. But Ross is amazing, and the two or three others that I've experienced that weren't that one local group were probably pretty great.
Yeah.
So
there's something about Bouffant that I would like to play with Marge and Gloria, because I think they have the ability to get there.
Ooh.
I think that they can, because it's about the statement and the energy and stepping over that line of, what is allowed, kind of.
Well, it's also about portraying your own grotesquities, taking the part of you that is the least appealing and putting that on display. I mean, and there's a great deal of vulnerability there. It is definitely taking, like, I find this gross about myself, and this is what my character is about. This is the thing that I'm showing off. This is the thing that I'm giving pride to. And there's a lot of value in that, but oftentimes it just comes out as people being really mean.
Yeah. I think our show ended up being like Bouffant light. I think it was,
really?
Because we wrote, the show was about our like mental illness adventures of like anxiety and depression, and like it was called Marge and Gloria Try New Things because we were terrified to do this. And so we worked on the 5 new things were like stepping out of their comfort zones, which then in turn was our comfort zones of like performing in front of people and playing these characters, and like I don't know, I think we kind of accidentally tiptoed into that.
Okay.
I think we did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I take it back then.
Great.
I take it back.
Take it back.
Yeah.
And I will retract my "you can all go fuck yourselves." That wasn't entirely fair to all bouffants. Just I had a bad taste in my mouth.
The same thing goes for like all theater professionals, and like in all aspects is like there are people who are doing clown where you're like, oh yikes, that's not the type of clown that I want to do, you know, and like that's okay.
It's something that just sets.
There's jelly in here. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're raspberry filled.
Fuck yeah.
They're so good. The wigs, clowns with wigs, especially circus wigs, just bother the hell out of me. I used to, before I discovered the Clown Conservatory, before I discovered Jeff Raz, and he saved me. I was going to the clown convention in Portland, Oregon every year, which is almost entirely retired ministry clowns, like retired people who've become ministry clowns. And
can you explain what a ministry clown is?
It's clowning for Christ. It's proselytizing through clown. It's huge. It's the majority of clowns in America are ministry clowns. They're not us. They are people in moose burger costumes and fright wigs doing Sunday school shows.
And they hang out in the woods, right? And that's why we had that clown scare a few years ago? No.
That's the other kind.
That's the other kind. The other kind that
is the backlash to them.
Yeah.
And they're sweet people. And they talk a lot about their kids. Because they spend a lot of time clowning for kids who are dying. And
oh my god.
Yeah, it's really, really intense. But wigs, circus wigs, just set me on edge. But there's a local clown who is a street performing clown. I wouldn't even call him a busker necessarily, but he's a street performing clown. And I think I'm one of those people who's really uptight about what is and is not clown, and I think he qualifies as a clown so much more than so many people who I went to school with, because he's out there doing it every day.
Yeah.
He's actually out there doing the work, even if I think it's not funny, if I don't find value in the humor, or necessarily the skill, or maybe the approach, whatever it might be. He's out there doing the work, and I think there's that counts as so much more than. But that's about my own neurosis, about like not being out there performing every day, not being out there performing every month, being out there performing once or twice a year is I get uptight about whether or not I still qualify as a clown.
I think if you are, you are.
And that's what a lot of people think. Laura Ricci, who was the person who first recommended you guys to me, it was definitely doesn't allow me to talk that way about myself as a clown. Anyway, moving back. Who are going to the media that influenced you the most? Who are your heroes in the genre, and what is some media that you consider influential to you that may be somewhat underrated that people may not really know about?
I mean, underrated that I think a lot of people are starting to know more about is Chris Fleming. Chris Fleming is like one of my favorite character creators and like stand-up comedians. Absolutely hilarious. I'm sure you've seen their Facebook video go viral of like the mom trying to clean the house for company. Oh my gosh, he's had this entire YouTube series called Gail, which is just like about a suburban mom, and he somehow is able to play the suburban mom flawlessly, but also is doing his own stand-up show that is like storytelling, and his brain is just so buck wild that he creates these specific scenarios that are so unattainable, but so like you can connect with them so clearly. And I don't know, they're just like I absolutely love Chris Fleming. I'm seeing him next month.
Really?
Here in San Francisco. I'm so excited.
My God.
But I've been an absolute fangirl for Chris Fleming for a while. But yeah, I get inspiration of just like anything is funny and you can do whatever you want. And also Gail was like, I don't know if it was purposefully low budget. Like, it is very clearly low budget. And, like, I love that he just keeps doing, like, stupid music videos, like, that are just, like, so absolutely funny, but so clearly, like, it looks like a high schooler put it together in, like, the video production class. And and that's sort of what inspired us to just, like, just do it. Just make it. Just make it, and it's funny, and if it makes us laugh, then, like, just do it. So I think Chris Fleming is getting up there. Yeah.
First I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have, let's see. I mean, growing up, I watched a lot of stand-up comedy. I don't know. The Care Bears was an intense experience. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Yeah.
What?
With the demons and their unicorn, like a black unicorn and some demons. And
oh my god, yeah, one of the camp counselors becomes a demon. Has to be saved by all the Care Bears coming together. To care. It inspired me to care. I don't know what I'm saying. I like the media that, I mean, I watched a lot of stand-up comedy, and then I did improv for so long, and I think, like, I see...
Well, who are your heroes in improv?
Oh, thank you, Abraham. Thank you. Here's an improv. There are two people who do improv at Bats, Lisa Rowland and Regina Saisi.
I know Lisa. I have known Lisa Rowland.
Yeah. And, like, they just, like, amaze me. Like, Lisa is just an incredibly powerful performer, and she, like, takes up space in this, like, beautiful way, and she can, like, fill a whole room and a whole stage, and she's hilarious, and, like, there's just always this intense connection to her partners and to the audience that, like, when I watch her, I can, like, really feel, and that to me is, like, just so satisfying to watch. Just, like, somebody who's so present with the people they're playing with and also with the audience.
Didn't she have a show with Dave Dennis called Awkward Dinner Party for a while? Yeah, that's really good.
Dave Dennison, yeah.
Dennison. Did you know Jerry Lawler?
I never met Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler was the person who taught me improv for a number of years.
Yeah.
And she was an amazing soul, and it was really sad to lose her.
Yeah, I watched her videos that were on Facebook when people were posting about her, and I was like, oh my god.
She was amazing.
Also, seemed like a huge performer. And then Regina Saisi, just like another amazing improviser who's just like so present and listens so well. And then it's just like her characters are just like hilarious and wild. Like, I remember Regina Saisi was... So Awkward Dinner Party is Lisa Rowland and Dave Dennison, and then the idea is they have a guest improviser who's a third person who comes to the show, and that it's called Awkward Dinner Party because for some reason at the beginning of the show the audience chooses who is like the couple or like who's hosting the dinner party, and then there's the third person, and for some reason that person's partner couldn't come, and so then it's like an awkward dinner party. But I remember in one of these, it was like Regina and Lisa were a couple, and then Regina was just like this character who is getting drunker and drunker as the night goes on, and just like going on this roller coaster of emotions. And I remember her at one point just like leaning back against the stage wall and just like melting in a sobbing puddle, like talking about a puzzle or something. And it was just beautiful. Like, yeah. So I think I take a lot of inspiration from like the risks that people take in improv and like what can happen, because anything can happen.
It's really good.
It's so exciting.
Do you listen to many improv podcasts?
No, I don't.
There's some Hello from the Magic Tavern is just an excellent one. That's it's been going for like 4 years, and it's just one long form narrative that's been going on for 4 years about a guy who fell through a portal behind a Burger King and ended up in a magical, fantastical land.
I need to listen to it because I've heard about it on every other podcast I listen to.
It's really excellent. And Spontaneation with Paul F. Tompkins it's over now, but what probably the best improvised podcast that there was out there. Freedom, which is Paul F. Tompkins, Laura Lapkus, and Scott Aukerman from Comedy Bang Bang.
Is it Freedom?
Freedom.
Okay.
Because there's 3 of them.
Right.
Because there's 3 of them, Shara.
What about the dumb part, though?
Well, they're not the brightest.
Oh.
It's a dumb show.
But it's spelled D-O-M, just
Okay.
to be subtle.
Okay, thank you.
Because it's like freedom, but there's 3 of them.
Okay.
So
sorry.
what is... We're running out of time, but I want to get a couple more questions in before we go.
Yeah.
What is a role, project, or thing that you've always wanted to do or create, but have not been able to because of logistics or money or what have you?
Oh, man. I don't know. And
I think I've peaked, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good with what I've done.
I think it's over.
I think it's over. Thank
yeah.
you.
I got you right there at the end.
I mean, I think also I have been clowning for only 3 or 4 years, and I think like knowing that we could create a show, like that was a big dream, and then it happened.
We did it in like 3 months.
Yeah, and so I think
What?
I feel like I haven't been able to, or I haven't had time to come up with a project that I don't know. I mean, a movie. I would like a movie to happen, but
Okay.
I think it will happen.
I think we're gonna make a movie then.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a movie.
Yeah.
I did youth theater for so long that like I was very thankful to be able to do the roles that I did, and I did a lot of Shakespeare, and like I feel like my absolute favorite of just like going out with a bang with this youth thing was I was Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing, and it was just like, oh great, this finally I'm like I've reached this point of like I've played Beatrice in Shakespeare, and I would remind myself that while mopping floors while working in a coffee shop of you've played Beatrice in Shakespeare. It was your good days. And like I think now it's about like what else can we create together, like what, like I don't have any specific goal in mind. Of just like I just want to keep making work together and making shows or making videos about stupid stuff or about things that are hard to talk about that are funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what is next for the 2 of you?
Sharon has to come home first.
And then we're gonna make a movie.
And then we're gonna make him.
No,
I mean, like, we're kind of juggling a lot of plans and theater stuff right now, but I think that honestly, we just want to bring Marge and Gloria Try New Things back again to the stage and sort of play around with a longer run of it, or maybe I really wanted to tour it up the Pacific Northwest because my family in Seattle was like, we couldn't make it to your show, bring it here, and I'm like, okay. So I think that that's a possibility, but I think just like bringing it back and like really like coming back around and like getting more people to see it, I think would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's all about when, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe this winter, in the fall or winter, I think we can do it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I think that, and then I think just like keep creating stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's more.
Always be creating.
Yeah, more time in theaters, more time making videos. Oh, also, I wanted to circle back to like, why does society need clowns?
Sure.
Because I think it's like you know that feeling when you haven't laughed in a really long time and then you laugh and it feels so good,
Like a good
and it's
sneeze.
like like you know that feeling when you haven't sneezed in a long time, then you sneeze. But yeah, that I feel like laughter and clowning makes people be present. Because you can't laugh if you're not like listening, and you can't laugh if you're not there, and you can't laugh if you're not experiencing it. And it just feels like clowning is a way to connect people and like remind people that we're all together and that we can make each other feel good. And that feels
Look at you
important.
creating that button for the end of this.
So where can people find your work?
You can find us on Instagram. We haven't posted for a very long time, but that doesn't matter. We are on Instagram as moshmosh.fun.
Is that
it?
Fun.
Let me look.
Our website 100% is moshmosh.fun.
Yes.
We got that domain, the .fun, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, moshmosh.fun. I think we connected both so that they're the same.
Yeah, moshmosh.fun. Yeah.
You can also moshmosh.fun on Instagram, where we post random content and some videos. If you'd like to email us, our email address, which we made together, is mosh@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's 7 moshes.
Okay.
Lowercase.
All lowercase. Just keep typing until you want to
Abraham,
die.
you contacted us through our website, so that's
Which
another
was so good.
Yeah.
That was so great.
Good. I bet that was helpful.
I felt like a real professional. This is, and like, what else do we want to do? I want to do more podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
You should. The stuff is cheap.
Really?
Great.
Yeah. They're like $40 or $50 each for the microphones.
Oh my god.
And then the software is effectively free. Voice Meter Banana.
What was
Voice
it?
Meter Banana.
Voice Meter Banana. It needs to be banana, not just Voice Meter, but Voice Meter
Banana. Gotta have the
that way you
bananas.
can run 3 USB mics. Normally you can only run 1 USB mic into a computer and have it recognize it. Voice Meter Banana will recognize up to 3 at a time. Hence our setup here.
I love this.
God.
And these are Yetis. These are blue snowballs. No, so these are blue snowballs, but blue also has Yetis, which are a little more common and maybe a little more expensive. But you should totally do it. Then you need more podcasts from clowns.
What would you like to hear from clowns? Because I know that you made this podcast because it didn't exist.
I'm always looking for collaborators. I would love to see some locally done long form improv podcasts. That would be cool. I'm always looking for more people to be on this podcast. Though not looking hard enough because it took like a hiatus of a year between the last episode and this one.
This is so cool though, because I looked at all the names that you had and I was like, oh, I know that person, and it just felt so cool to be a part of this community where you were like, we're looking for clown duos. I was like, I want to be clown duo. I was like, you know what? This is so good.
Well, and that's what it's about, is community.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds really cheesy to say it that way, but it is about building community and growing community. And when the original Clown Conservatory ceased to function, the clowns all started moving away and fading away, and there was no more Clown Conservatory to keep refilling that pot. And all the best clowns I knew, for the most part, moved to somewhere else, and there wasn't. And so last year we just did circus. We did just general circus people because it was harder to find clowns. But it sounds like with the Clown Conservatory up and running again, and with the kind of intensity and fervor that it has, there'll be more and more. So more people on this podcast, more clown podcasts, more clown shows, all of it. That's what I want to see. All right, Molly, Shara, Mosh, thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you, Abraham.
Thank you for joining us today on Ridiculous Life of a Clown. This program, as always, is made possible by your support through our Patreon, which you can find through www.picklewater.com. Theme song by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech Music.